Last year, a telehealth company booked $401 million in revenue. It had one employee, the founder, and about a dozen AI tools. For comparison, Hims and Hers, a public company in the same market, did $2.4 billion with 2,400 employees and a 5.5% net margin. Medvi did 16% margins on $400 million with a single human in the building. This isn't a story about AI helping people work faster. It's about a new kind of company where the headcount is close to zero by design, and why every Fortune 500 board should be paying attention right now. The clearest example is a company called Polsia. Its pitch is blunt: AI that runs your company while you sleep. And it's not selling automation software. It's testing a completely different idea of what a company even is. Founded by Ben Serra, a former Cloud Kitchens operator, Polsia raised a $30 million Series A at a $250 million valuation in May 2026. Here's the part that matters: roughly $10 million in annual recurring revenue in about 5 months, 7,600 business customers, one human, the founder, and 9 specialist AI agents doing the work: research, code, advertising, support, and operations. Strip away the founder's showmanship and look at the operating model, because that's the real story. Companies have always scaled through headcount: departments, middle managers, offshore labor, software to support the humans. Polsia inverts the entire stack. The AI agents become the workers. The humans become orchestrators, not managers. Operations run continuously, not on office hours. And labor becomes software, something you scale up and down like cloud compute. This is closer to cloud infrastructure for running businesses than to traditional software. The product isn't a tool. The product is the company. Now, if Polsia were a one-off, you could write it off as cheap money froth. It isn't. A small cohort has now demonstrated this model at real scale across completely different sectors. Case 1, Medvi. In telehealth, the $400 million business we opened with started with $20,000 of capital by one founder, Matthew Gallagher, 250,000 customers, reportedly on a $1.8 billion trajectory for 2026. His only hire so far, his younger brother after year 1. Case 2, Base 44 in developer tools. Built solo in 6 months by Maurer Shlomo. No co-founder, no seed round, no team. 250,000 users. Sold to Wix for $80 million in cash, plus $90 million more in earnouts. His final month operating solo, he cleared $189,000 in profit. And case 3, Pieter Levels, the longest-running proof of all. 3 products: Photo AI, Nomad List, Remote OK. 3 to 5 million in annual revenue, 0 employees, 1 operator running for a decade, and roughly 80% of the execution now done by AI. This is why Anthropic's Dario Amodei put 70 to 80% odds on the first solo-founded billion-dollar company emerging by the end of 2026. Sam Altman is reportedly running a betting pool on the same question. As of now, Medvi is at the front of the field. So here's where it matters for the Fortune 500. The wrong question for a board is, can AI replace our employees tomorrow? That traps the whole conversation in headcount maths and politics, and it misses the point. The right question is this: entire new business units, departments, and service lines can now be designed AI first from day one, without retrofitting anything you already have. You don't transform the existing organization. You launch a greenfield AI native unit right next to it. And the enterprises that learn to do that will compound a cost and speed advantage that is mathematically impossible to match with traditional efficiency programs. You can't cost-cut your way to a 100x productivity gap. The briefing names 6 no-human departments a Fortune 500 could launch in 2026, and the key point is that none of these are speculative. Everyone is feasible today. The constraint is organizational, not technical. 1. AI revenue operations. Continuous deal scoring and next best action, replacing a RevOps team of 12 to 30 people. 2. AI market intelligence. A real-time briefing every morning instead of a deck every quarter, replacing the internal strategy team and the McKinsey retainer that supplements it. 3. AI procurement. Continuous benchmarking and negotiation, decoupled from the fiscal calendar. 4. AI customer expansion. Churn detection and renewal playbooks running daily, not quarterly. 5. AI compliance and risk, live monitoring across jurisdictions instead of a periodic audit. And 6. AI outbound and demand, end-to-end pipeline generation, replacing an SDR floor of 30 to 80 reps. Each one can be ring-fenced under a single human director, run alongside the existing function, and learn fast without political resistance. That's the path of least resistance and the highest velocity of learning. Now, the number that reframes everything: revenue per employee. The median Fortune 500 software business runs somewhere between $300,000 and $600,000 of revenue per employee. Midjourney does roughly $18 million per employee. Medvi did $401 million with one person. That's a productivity differential of 30x to 1,000x, depending on the benchmark. Call 100x the new floor for an AI native unit. And that's not a marketing number. It's just what happens when you replace salary lines with frontier model API spend. Think about what that does to capital allocation. A traditional unit might add $50 million in revenue for $40 million in fully loaded cost. An AI native unit chasing the same revenue might cost $2 to $4 million to run. And here's the trap for the laggard. Once a competitor has moved 3 to 5 units onto this model, you cannot catch up by hiring. Your only move is to build your own, while the gap keeps compounding. Now, a serious take has to say where this breaks, and Polsia itself is the cautionary tale. First, the quality and reliability gap. Polsia's customer reviews averaged 2.1 out of 5. Users reporting tasks marked complete that never shipped, credits burned on failed runs. The $250 million valuation is a bet that the reliability curve resolves. It might not. The lesson for a board isn't "don't do this." It's that AI native units need far better governance and human-in-the-loop checkpoints than the startups are building. The autonomous loop needs an audit layer. Second, brand and regulatory exposure. A solo founder generating AI slop from 20 accounts is an inconvenience. A Fortune 500 brand doing it is a Wall Street Journal headline. The governance bar is much higher inside a large, regulated enterprise. And third, the talent paradox. AI native units don't eliminate the need for talent, they concentrate it. The director running a 6-agent unit has to be sharper than the VP managing 30 people because they're designing the system, not supervising it. Treat this as a cost-cutting exercise and the units will underperform. So here's the takeaway. Polsia might become a giant, a niche experiment, or just an early proof of concept. Medvi might stumble. Base 44 might be a one-off. None of that really matters. What matters is that the autonomous enterprise has now been demonstrated empirically, not in a consulting forecast, but in real revenue, real customers, and real acquisitions. A company no longer needs large human teams to run meaningful business infrastructure. That single fact reshapes enterprise software, consulting, outsourcing, and the structure of the corporation itself. And the most exposed function is go-to-market, because it's the most measurable and the most software touchable. The honest forecast: within 36 months, the top-performing revenue organizations won't have the largest sales floors. They'll run a small, sharp orchestrator team on top of an AI-native demand engine, an AI-native expansion unit, and an AI-native intelligence loop. The firms that learn this earliest, by launching their first AI-native unit in 2026, not 2028, will define the next era of business. The rest will be writing the case study on themselves. This was part 1 of the Autonomous Enterprise series. If it was useful, the full briefing is linked below, and there's a new one every Friday. I'll see you in the next one.